I know I'm a couple days late. By the time this gets out, this is going to be, because today's Monday. I was supposed to do this Sunday. Today's Monday. I'm probably not going to edit this until Tuesday. So I will go in and I will look at a few things here for the coming week in case you care. You want to see what's happening according to the actual placements of the planets and the constellations using sidereal astrology and the original ancient meanings of all of the constellations and planets, and the thing that I do on the video. I did want to show you today, Poppy is sitting with me. She is a rat, in case you can't tell. Right now she's washing her face. She probably thinks that I'm filthy because to her, she's just this pristine little creature. Poppy is super, super sweet. Rats are very nice. They make really, really good pets. I actually want to get a few more. We have a giant cage and they are very social animals. And so they like to have friends and hang out with each other. We currently have 4. We have 2 that we've had since baby. So Poppy and Sugarface, they were just tiny, tiny little babies. And I just pet them for hours and hours on end. And they were my little emotional support rats when I was going through some dark times, we'll say, in the not too distant past. But, oh, don't eat the cord. That was the agreement. You can't, nope, can't do it. Don't do it. The other 2 that we have, Snowball, and I know that they're not the best names, Snowball and Silver. They were, can't really call them rescues, but basically somebody needed to get rid of them. They had them in this tiny little cage, and I think that she never played with them. She never took them out, and the one, Silver, actually bites. It hurts really bad. I mean, I guess there's worse things, but I think it's because she's just terrified. She's basically like wild. The other one, Snowball, she's very timid, but she doesn't bite. It's really strange to have one that's kind of bitey, but Poppy's everybody's favorite because she's just so sweet. When they wake up in the morning, they just run to come and see you. And when we have them out, we free range them on most days that we're around because we have cats, and the cats don't really care. But Kashmiri, if you've watched some of the other videos, she's a kitten and she is a little murder machine and will kill anything that moves. So the rats are too big for her to cause any problems with. She's actually kind of scared and they will attack her and protect themselves, but still we like to be around. But anyways, when you go in the room, and well, when I go in the room and they hear me, they run. So they will run across the room and they will come to climb on you and they will sit on you and they will fall asleep. And they're just the sweetest little things. They're just wonderful. They are litter trained. They have a tiny little litter box in their cage. Obviously, if they can't wait, like it's been too long, yeah, she'll pee right on me. So you just gotta be all right with that. But I grew up on a farm and I mean, I'm a savage. If left to my own devices, I would run around barefoot in the woods and I mean, nothing would be accomplished. We still have the moon hanging out right here near Mars in Taurus. Obviously, Mars has been in Taurus for a while. It's going to continue to be in Taurus. This is a delicate time, shall we say. Things are building, things are intensifying all over the world. Of course, this is a very general forecast. We don't know exactly how this is going to affect you personally or me individually. I mean, I know because I know what my chart looks like, but for that, you want to look at your chart. If that's something you're interested in, I'll put my contact information in the video description. So feel free to reach out when we can happen. But otherwise, this moon here is activating Mars. Now, Mars is a very intimate and very sensitive planet. It is very sensitive to toxicity, to negativity, also to positive things and, good, clean, healthy things. So it can go either way. It's not negative or positive inherently. It depends on the circumstances, but regardless, it's going to intensify this energy. So everybody right now is going to be much more sensitive to the people around them, to the things that they put in their bodies, and anything in between. This does kind of make it more likely that there are going to be some miscommunications, maybe some feelings getting hurt in your personal life or in the world at large. Don't panic if that happens. This energy will pass, and this is all happening so that we can learn from these experiences. Hopefully we can learn before things escalate and get worse. We still have Jupiter over here in Pisces and Tiamat. As you can see, Venus is still making its way through Aquarius. It is now past that conjunction with Saturn. Hopefully you made use of that conjunction. It was a very intense time. We do have Mercury over here. Now, depending on which depiction you want to look at, the tail of Pabalsag, the scorpion tail of Pabalsag, would have likely wrapped right up around here. Now, in some depictions, Pabalsag actually had wings, so he wouldn't have had a cape like this. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm probably going to make these deep dive videos here in the coming weeks, but if you go through and you watch some of the more recent videos that I've done, you'll see what I'm talking about Sagittarius originally having been Pabalsag, the chief ancestor, and so on and so forth. Regardless, this Mercury placement here, right in either the wings or the tail of the scorpion, we are looking at a lot of movement. This is a powerful time for learning. Some people may say travel. Yes, if you are traveling more for some masculine purpose, maybe in a career capacity, if you have to do some travel from work, this is going to intensify some of that energy. If you have to travel right now for any type of courses or workshops that you're doing, this is a very favorable time. Either way, this placement does make any attempts to learn that much better for you. Like you're going to absorb some things, you're going to be able to memorize things. If you were waiting for a time to start playing the piano, learning karate, learning about Babylonian and ancient astrology, now's the time to do it. Let's go ahead and let's look at some of these other minor asteroids that I like to use, and I'll explain why. Hold on. First, let me explain why I use Vesta in some of my more advanced calculations and how I got the information for Vesta, which applies to, I also use Ceres and I use the newly discovered outer planets. And I'll explain why I do that here. When an astronomer or anyone looks up and discovers a new planetary body, they often give it a name like Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Vesta, Ceres. If they give it a name from mythology, all of a sudden, all the astrologers are like, new planetary body, and it's called whatever deity. And now we're just going to take that mythology of that deity, and we're going to put it onto the new planet. What that means is if instead of Neptune, they had named it Santa Claus, now Neptune is associated with bringing people gifts around the midwinter solstice. It's also associated with maybe strange men that you don't actually know, like letting them into the house at weird times of the night. Who knows what they would associate it with, but that's how they would get some of its meanings. Another way that they do it is they look at what was happening in the Western world, not in China, not in Africa, but just in the main big Western EU and NATO countries. What's going on in the world in these areas at the time the planet was discovered? And in the case of Uranus, there was some upheaval and revolutions and stuff. And so they kind of associated upheaval and revolutions with Uranus on top of the actual mythology of the god Uranus. And they just kind of threw them at the planet. Obviously, Uranus, Neptune, all of these planetary bodies have been influencing us for thousands of years, whether or not we knew about them. So to give them associations based on what was going on in the West at the time they were discovered, or just blanket throwing their associations onto them based on the name chosen at random, that is silly. That's the nicest way that I can say it. The only way to know what these planets or asteroids, in this case, minor planets, what they do to us is to actually track them, track the events for individuals, for businesses, for countries. You have to see what events are taking place in relation to these charts. Then you have to test your assertions and make sure that they're accurate. So let me give an example here. Here's what's going on. Somebody named the asteroid Vesta, and Vesta in mythology was, according to, what am I reading this off? I guess just Wikipedia. Vesta is the virgin goddess of the hearth, home, and family in Roman religion. She was rarely depicted in human form and was most often represented by her fire of her temple. Astrologers heard that. They said, oh, asteroid. Oh, it's called Vesta. We know what that means. It means, according to Llewellyn.com, that Vesta is the divine representation of the flame inside ourselves, the one that gives us our spark of life, Vesta is the place in our charts that allows us to understand the way we feel towards our home and ourselves and our family. Okay, I can read sometimes. Beyond that, she's the inspiration inside ourselves that keeps us going. Well, that's beautiful, but guaranteed nobody tested that. They just all got together and decided new planetary body, here's the name, here's the mythology, this is what it means. That's not based on anything. This name was chosen at random. If somebody had named this planet Xena Warrior Princess, I've been on a marathon lately, so that's why that came to mind first, then this would be associated with strong 6'2" blue-eyed women who go around in leather and just beat the living stuffing out of people. So like it's just a random thing. Nevertheless, Vesta, more as a coincidence, is related to the home, but because it is a macrocosmic representation of the physical body. Vesta, as far as my research has shown, is concerned with health, thus wealth, and basically material survival. It is very closely connected to Virgo, and looking at it in a chart will tell you a lot about somebody's ancestry, their physical composition, their genetics, as well as their connection to their ancestors, and in many cases, yes, I guess you could say the relationship with the home, but more so whether or not somebody's going to be more like a homebody, maybe a little bit more introverted, maybe more have that kind of like me, that too primal connection to nature, whether or not somebody wants to run barefoot through the woods and eat raw fish and berries. Vesta will give you some insight into that. So right now, Vesta is right at the tail end of Ketis and the swallow of Anunnaki, which this was originally most likely Tiamat, who was the primordial mother goddess in ancient Mesopotamia, and Anunnaki. A lot of these meanings are kind of similar. Very strong maternal energy here, very psychic, very strong occult energy. And so this Jupiter placement, this is making us all radiate our auras a little bit bigger. It is also really fortuitous if you are trying to connect to your person, your twin flame, you're trying to build that relationship or meet that person. Or also if you're an artist, I mean, you're just going to be tapping into this very deep spiritual creative place. So all very good. Vesta's placement this close to Jupiter will give everyone, and again, this is everybody right now, giving us all some additional physical energy to draw from. So that's good. It's also making us all physically more psychic. There's a word for that, and it is called clairsentience. Clairsentience is psychic sensation. So if you go into someone's house and they have a lot of knickknacks around, it's not dirty, but it's just got some older stuff, you might feel physically unwell. You go into an antique store, same thing. If you touch someone, you happen to brush up against them, or you have to shake someone's hand at a business meeting, you're much more likely to have a visceral reaction to the psychic negativity. Depending on the environment that you're spending your time in, this can actually make you more physically sensitive to illnesses and some really nasty stuff. So it's very important that all of us right now, and this is going to be in here for a long time, take very good care of our physical environments and make sure you have good energy flow. It's a good time to do some feng shui. Just keep your energy clean. We want to have clean energy while this is going on, because it's just affecting us physically and financially. The good news is work that you put into your spiritual or physical body is going to pay off in both areas and will likely help you get more money. So it's a good thing to focus on right now. All right, so that's Vesta. I will do Ceres. I wasn't gonna, but I'm gonna do Ceres. Oh, by the way, the reason why... No, she's hanging out with, I know, I love her too, but she's hanging out with me right now. I know. We'll go play with Sugarface. Everybody loves Poppy. Alice's friends come over and wants to play with Poppy. We have at least 3 rats because the 4th rat bites, as you now know. But everyone wants to play with Poppy. She's the best. You are the best. You are. You are just the best ever. Okay. Yeah, your short lifespans. I didn't mention that. They only live a couple of years. Kind of a bummer. Poppy's only about six, not even 6 months old. So she's gonna be around for a while. We got her hooked up here. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Sorry, getting derailed. The reason I use Ceres and Vesta, they have a combined 1/3 of the entire mass of the asteroid belt. I mean, they're huge. They have gravity. I believe Vesta actually has some substrate on it. I mean, they are huge. They are in all likelihood a smashed up planet. And in many respects, both Ceres and Vesta, they're going to have some similarities. And I'm going to explain that. It was probably better that I decided to do Ceres too. Let's go over to Ceres right in the constellation of Virgo, right in the furrow in the front, right over here. I'm going to do the thing again. I'm going to do it so you can, because you know, at this point, if you've been watching my videos, you know, I like to just take the dead horse and just bludgeon it until the point is so driven home that you will never, ever forget it. You will wish that you could forget it, but you can't. In ancient Roman religion, Ceres was a goddess of agriculture, grain crops, fertility, and motherly relationships. So we're going to replace in the search function mythology with astrology. Ceres is a dwarf planet ruling nourishment and is argued to be the ruler of Taurus. For what? Who knows? In your natal chart, it shows how and where you need nourishment, support to be nurtured and encouraged, and where and how you can give that to others. Ceres is also connected to growth, our resources, and money. I agree with the resources and money, but not because of anything that the internet said or because it was named Ceres or anything else. Statistically, that's what the data has shown. Ceres is very much associated with the environment. So if we're looking at Ceres and Vesta as kind of a part of the same body that was destroyed, we can look at Vesta as the internal environment, the physical body, and Ceres is a little bit more on the external environment. So we are looking at some social elements. In many respects, we can see this as the town or village that we live in. I mean, some people, I guess, live in a village or city. Yes, cities, those are the other ones. That's what I was thinking. But it's very much the external environment, and we can extrapolate therefrom. All right. So with that in mind, Virgo is the health and wealth constellation. This is the original Earth Mother. It's all about rain and resources and survival and just that connection to the material world. A lot of Sri Lakshmi energy in here for anyone who wants to look at it that way. Regardless, this placement is a great time for networking, for business. Anything that requires marketing right now is favorable. What else, Poppy? What else you got? Poppy says, if you resonate with your environment, you feel like you are part of the group or a part of the team, that's going to pay off for you physically and financially. So reduced stress. Now, if you, Poppy didn't really tell me this, just so you guys know, I'm just being dumb. She's like chattering a lot though. If you watched my video about the conjunction that we just had and just this new moon in general, being very intense, very pivotal, that does raise the potential for some sort of escalation. When you take this into consideration, though, I do think that that tempers some of those overly intense interactions and communications with global powers, so to speak. This does provide some room for diplomacy. Arguably, it's tiny. It's a minor planet compared to Jupiter and Saturn and even the location of Venus and everything. We got to factor that stuff in to an extent, but this is definitely helping everybody's cause right now. This right here is probably keeping us all safe and sane and preventing global catastrophe, at least for now. So hopefully that will continue to move forward. I'm probably going to wrap this up because I am at risk of going on a tangent. And I'm noticing the later it gets, the harder it is for me to not be a smartass. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Helps me when you do that. Poppy would really appreciate it if you subscribed. If you did not like this video, if it infuriated you, if you hate rats, you hate astrology, not sure why I would watch this. If you hate Babylonian astrology, sidereal astrology, you don't like that stuff, feel free to write all of that in the comments. I love hearing from people when they are upset on the internet, and so few people enjoy that. So few people will really just give you the outlet to just lay it all out there. But I do really like it, and I respond to everyone very kindly and professionally, and I would love to hear from it. You know, even if you just have some normal criticism, I'm happy to hear that too. Oh, and I guess, you know, hit the bell icon so you can be notified the next time that a video like this comes out. Though I'm trying really, really hard once a week. I almost missed it this time, but I'm going to get it out. And of course, if you know anybody who's interested in astrology, you guys, I don't have social media anymore. I got rid of it. I don't like it. It's not serving me. I don't know if it's serving you. That's something you got to figure out on your own. But if it does serve you and you have it, feel free to share this video. That helps me out too. Anyways, all my contact information is in the video description. And I wish you an amazing week. And I hope that all of the best things in life happen to you. With that, Poppy and I are gonna go get some food. So cute. You're just the cutest Poppy in the world. You're so cute.